Who to call for biohazard cleaning services. If you're a homeowner or business owner who has a home or office that is full of biological hazards, you may be looking for biohazard cleaning services. Whether you have mold, bacteria, or other types of odors, you need to know what to look for in a cleaning company and how to choose the right one for your needs. What is biohazard cleaning? Biohazard cleaning is a difficult and demanding task. It is important to seek the services of professionals to perform the job correctly. These cleaners will have the tools and experience needed to remove all biohazards from your property. A biohazard can be any type of biological material. These include viruses, bacteria, blood, body fluids, and animal remains. Any of these can be dangerous to human health. Without the proper disinfection and removal, the risk of illness or infection increases. Various illnesses can be passed from person to person through the air, food, and even through skin contact. This makes biohazard cleanup a dangerous and sensitive process. Professional cleanup services will use protective equipment to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Personal protective equipment includes masks, gloves, and eye protection. The presence of these devices can be particularly important if the site has been infected by pathogens. Biohazard cleaning services provide a variety of services beyond standard cleaning. Some companies specialize in cleaning crime scenes, while others provide disinfection services. They are also often available 24 hours a day. What kind of certification do you need? Biohazard cleaning is a job that requires special know-how and a lot of training. This is because biohazards are dangerous to human health, and if you don't clean them up properly, you could harm yourself or others. Thankfully, there are professional services that will clean up biohazards. But before you hire one, you should know what kind of certification you need to get started. You may have to get a permit from your state or local authorities, or you might have to do some background checking. Fortunately, the rules for biohazard cleaning vary from state to state. In California, for instance, you need a trauma scene waste management practitioner license. Other states, such as Georgia, require additional licensing. Ultimately, your insurance agent can help you determine what your policy covers and what it doesn't. Among the most common types of biohazards are blood, urine, or other bodily fluids. These materials can cause infection, so you must be careful. Depending on the severity of the situation, you may need to wear protective equipment. What do biohazard cleaners do? Biohazard cleaners are professionals who clean up hazardous materials such as blood, feces, and needle sharps. They must use special chemicals and protective equipment to sanitize the affected areas. There are several risks involved in biohazard cleaning. Without specialized training and protective gear, cleaners can contract a disease from the site and become infected themselves. Having a clean and sanitized crime scene is a vital aspect of keeping the community safe. A professional cleaning service should always be called in to perform biohazard cleaning. There are many dangers associated with a contaminated site, such as HIV, hepatitis B, and rabies. These pathogens can live on surfaces for up to 16 days. Those who are exposed to a contaminated area should avoid contact with the scene at all costs. In addition to the physical risks, there is the psychological risk. People who have experienced trauma may have an overwhelming sense of fear and anxiety about getting rid of the harmful material. This can cause health issues, including respiratory problems and depression. Fortunately, a trained professional can clean up the scene and get everyone back on their feet. What makes a house a biohazard? Biohazards refer to any biological material which can cause serious health issues. These can include blood, bodily fluids, and industrial chemicals. If left unchecked, these materials can cause infections, illnesses, and even death. Although biohazards can be dangerous, it is not impossible to clean them up. It's just a matter of taking the proper precautions. Having an expert remove the hazardous substances can help ensure a safe living space. Whether the material is human or animal, it's important to take care of the cleanup quickly and properly. This is especially true if you're dealing with blood or other infectious agents. You don't want to end up in the hospital or getting a throat infection. Fortunately, there are companies that specialize in biohazard removal. They can thoroughly clean and decontaminate a home and ensure that everyone is protected. Aside from disinfecting, they can even help you get rid of odors. The National Center for Biotechnology Information has a guide detailing the many types of biohazards. These include bacteria, viruses, fungus spores, mold, and chemical compounds. What is considered a biohazard? Biohazard is a term used to describe any biological agent that poses a health hazard to people. Biological agents can include blood, infectious waste, bacteria, viruses, and spores. They can also be a threat to animals. In the case of a crime scene, for instance, a biohazard can be anything that contains pathogens. Depending on the type of hazard, a person may need to wear personal protective equipment, PPE. If a contaminated area is unsanitary or dangerous to a worker, special sanitation procedures are required. The Centers for Disease Control defines biohazardous materials as anything that could harm a human or animal. Those materials include blood, body fluids, and animal carcasses. Often, these materials are contaminated with viruses or other infectious diseases. Bloodborne pathogens can easily spread to others, so PPE is necessary. People with compromised immune systems should avoid exposure. Aside from PPE, gloves are crucial for handling bodily fluids. These include blood, saliva, and urine. Viruses and toxins can also be classified as biohazards. When handled improperly, these substances can spread through the air and on the ground. It is vital to disinfect the surrounding area before disposing of them. What is the most common biohazard? Biohazards are biological materials or waste that pose a threat to human health. They include bodily fluids and tissue, such as blood, and can cause serious or fatal illnesses. There are several types of biohazards. These include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and industrial chemicals. However, the most common biohazard is blood. Blood spills can travel far beyond the initial trauma location. Typically, these spills must be disposed of at biohazard waste facilities. Bodily fluids from humans and animals are considered biohazards because they contain bacteria and viruses. This is why it is important to take the proper precautions when handling these materials. If you suspect that you may be exposed to a biohazard, contact a professional. Most biological hazards are caused by microorganisms, toxins, and viruses. Some are extremely rare, but they can cause severe illness if left untreated. Biohazards can be found at an accident scene, in a hospital or nursing home, or even at a hotel. Those working in these high-risk industries need to know how to properly dispose of the material. What are the three types of biohazard? Biohazards are biological materials which can harm human beings, animals, or plants. These materials include bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, allergens, and other agents. They can present a direct risk to humans or an indirect risk through environmental damage. Biohazards come in three different forms, depending on the type of agent. The first, Biohazard Level 1, involves minimal exposure to a human being. It is caused by pathogenic microorganisms such as E. coli and Bacillus subtilis. Biohazard Level 2 includes mild to moderate infections in humans. It can be transmitted through contact with infected materials. Biohazard Level 3 consists of diseases such as malaria, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Rift Valley fever, and many types of viral encephalitis. Symptoms of these diseases may not show up immediately. Biohazard Level 4 involves dangerous viruses, such as Ebola, Marburg, and Lassa fever. The disease can be severe and fatal. To avoid spreading the virus, extreme isolation precautions must be taken. Other biohazards include mold and animal infestations. The presence of mold in a building may be difficult to eradicate without professional help. What is biohazard? Give example. Biohazard cleaning is a special type of cleanup that involves dealing with potentially hazardous biological materials. These materials can include bacteria, viruses, and pathogens. The cleanup process requires specialized procedures and equipment. Having the right cleaning service on hand can ensure that the cleanup is done safely. Biohazards can appear anywhere, from medical offices to residential buildings. They can pose major dangers to humans and animals. Some of the most common types of biohazards are infectious diseases, blood, bodily fluids, and chemicals. It is important to know how to clean up biohazards. When biohazards are left untreated, they can spread to other people. This can lead to a number of serious health complications. Biohazards can be found in a wide variety of locations, including hospitals, outpatient clinics, physicians' offices, and crime scenes. They can also be found in homes and factories. In some cases, biohazards can be a result of accidents, such as spilling a pot of water on the floor or accidentally breaking a glass. While many people try to handle biohazards themselves, there are some situations when it is best to hire professional help. Having the right equipment and training is essential for safe and proper handling.